Okay, welcome to Miami's podcast. I'm your host, Brian Driggs, and today I have Pele Chen, who is the president of Naturally Healing Enterprises Incorporated. Pele, tell us a little bit about your business and how it got started.
Thank you so much for having me. My name again is Pele Chen, and my business, Naturally Healing Enterprises Inc., is a wellness business. It really is based around helping people feel their best when they're told they're about to die, when they're told they need drugs to heal, when they're told that it's inevitable because it's genetic. When I hear these stories, I just say, I have some help for you. And so I myself went through some health concerns for the first 30 years of my life. And for 30 years, I was taking medication, seeing doctors, whether it be for a cold or a fever, a headache, a stomach ache, menstrual cycle issue. There were all sorts of things that came up in my life, even like pink eye and things that were recurring all the time, things that actually never went away. They were just numbed and dulled for a while, and then they would reappear. And I feel that's what happens with most people is that we're always trying to avoid pain. And so we numb and suppress, and that doesn't heal us. And that's what I realized was happening to me, that it kept coming back. So because I was such a habitual patient, I decided when I was 30 that I no longer wanted to have this everyday suffering of needing to take a pill, of needing to suppress something. I just wanted to feel my best. I wanted to wake up with vibrancy. I wanted to not have stomach aches during the day or have to rush to the restroom or have bowel issues, whether I didn't go for days or just all of a sudden had diarrhea. Like, this is the kind of thing that many people go through, and they're medicating with these drugs that are actually more harmful than good. And so it puts us in a cycle. And I want to take us out of the cycle. And I realized back then what I was doing to myself was consuming things that were not actually good for me, things that were causing blockages in my body, things that were causing me to not have energy, depleting my energy, things that would just take me from, say, maybe it helped me for like a couple hours, or it just was a temporary fix. And I just had to get rid of that need to have a crutch. So I didn't want these symptoms anymore. And I thought, well, let me ask a doctor, what's the cause of what I was going through? And no one ever gave me an answer except you caught it, or it's genetic, or just as I mentioned before. So I just didn't believe the stories anymore. And I had to do some research into my own diet. I saw at the time I was in massage school, and my one of my teachers introduced me to yoga. And when I was doing yoga, I felt horrible. I just wanted to throw up the whole time. I was nauseous. But at that time, I believe I did have some form of cancer. I won't say that I got a diagnosis, but I was for about 2 years having this nausea, never being able to wake up or go to bed without feeling like I wanted to vomit. And I would still eat, but I would never have proper digestion. The bowels were totally in havoc. Like, it wasn't regular every day at the same time, which I realize now that that's how it should be. And there's a time of day that the bowel works the best. And that's what I learned after going through what I did to myself. And it was to go through this drastic food change, because I lived on meats and dairy and nuts and soy and mushrooms and teas and caffeine, like everybody is supposed to be doing according to what we're told. And instead of getting better, I needed the crutch. I needed medicine. I needed the doctor. Didn't feel well every day. Didn't have energy. I couldn't exercise, or the exercise I did, I would feel so depleted. I had no stamina. I was stiff. I was in pain. I was inflamed. It just was just a cycle of nonsense. And I was sick
Mm.
of it. And the diet change made an amazing. For me, what I realized is that I had to remove the cause.
Mhm.
And I did so for 10 months. I went on this fruit fast. where I didn't eat anything else but a different variety of fruits. And people always say, oh, fruits can give you diabetes, sugar, too much sugar. The doctors say don't eat it. I said, oh, interesting, because I don't have diabetes right now. So far, I've been doing this for 10 months. And not only did it reverse all of my symptoms that I was experiencing, it gave me more energy. It helped me to sleep better at night, longer hours, more sound hours, not even longer, but like from 10 to 5, 10 p.m. to 5 p.m., 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. And I would wake up with this vibrancy and this urge to do one thing. And every day, this is my goal, is to have an arm's length, which look at my arm, guys, look how long it is. An arm's length, odor-free, streak-free bowel movement on rising before consuming anything. Like this was the thing that cramped in my belly to wake me up. And I went to the restroom every single day for these last 24 years. And it's because of these fruits. And I'm not only eating fruits, I eat many foods. I love all kinds of foods. I'm a Jamaican. I love all kinds of foods. But there is a certain limit and there's a certain consistency of how often I should be doing this. And so I should always have my fruits as my staple, and it should be throughout the day because that's how we hydrate the bowels. And I wasn't, and for these past few years, it hasn't been like, some people say, oh, but I get diarrhea when I eat a lot of fruit, or it makes me go too often, or there's always something, or my stomach hurts. I'm like, first of all, pain is your stomach cramping. It's getting the stuff out. It's moving. It's trying to help you to get it out. That pain is happening because it's so backed up that your stomach has to cramp hard to get this thing to move. So most of us are getting the cramp and we are stopping it with some medication, with something to suppress the symptom of cramping. And that cramp is your body's natural response to helping you eliminate something that's been sitting there or something that's stuck. And so the heart of the cramp is the more fecal matter literally is stuck
Hmm.
in you. So I learned all that. And now I teach that to my detox clients. I bring them on a 30-day fruit fast. I teach them how to transition from eating all this cooked food to slowly moving into a raw diet, to then into a fruit diet, and trying to maintain it for a certain amount of time, then going through a juice fast and then a water fast, and then going back into this diet of trying to get to this, I say 70-30, 70% raw, 30% cooked is what I try to maintain and what I try to teach. At first it was 80-20, and I'm like, life is hitting. Life is hitting. I can do 70-30. 80-20 is kind of tough. Like you wouldn't believe the 10% that can
Right.
happen when life gets busy, when there are bills to pay and you're just like, okay, I have to fit food in, I have to fit time in to go find the food. And so you have to make an effort. This doesn't
Right.
just fall in our hands. And if you go to a restaurant, you can't really order a plate of, let's say, just pineapple, a ripe organic pineapple, just pineapple. And that's the thing about this diet is that there's certain fruits when they're in season, you want to eat them when they're in season. So I try to teach about what foods to eat, fruits are available. Some fruits are available all year long, like tomatoes, like cucumbers, like
Yeah.
avocado. People don't think they're fruits, they're veggies. I'm like, well, first let's talk about that because you know what, you have to learn which are really fruit. When people realize how many different styles of types of fruits there are, because there's spicy fruit, which
Hmm.
is your jalapeno peppers, your bell peppers, your cayenne chili pepper. Then you have sour fruit, lemons and limes, etc. You have your bitter fruit. And pomegranates, as well as grapefruit, can be considered the bitter fruits. But then you have also your neutrals, like cucumbers and tomatoes and avocado. So, like your fatty fruit, and you have your sweet fruit. So it's like trying to get
Yeah.
the colors of the rainbow is what I try to teach.
I like that.
So I
I
teach
like
the,
that.
yeah, go ahead.
So go back to the part where the moment where you were like, hey, here's my symptoms, here's my problems, and I know that this is how it's gonna, like, when did you go from the student to the teacher? Like, at what point where you're like, hey, this is working, this is it, and this is what I'm gonna start teaching people?
Right. So I definitely went through transitions for about 5 years. And in those 5 years of me doing this lifestyle change, I had friends that were looking in and doing it and following and talking and asking questions. I wasn't really trying to do it as a job back then. And I didn't know how to explain why things were happening. I didn't get in tune with it yet. I was still experiencing and learning. At the time, I was just teaching yoga and just teaching, giving massages. That was my only two jobs. So the detoxing, healing my body was a passion. You know, it was something I did for free and I helped people. And then I went into a course, a couple courses I took. One was with a school. Oh my gosh, if I could only remember. Jeez. Oh my God, it was so important. Oh, it was a qigong seminar, but they had also how to make smoothies. All right, now this is not, it's interesting. Like you wouldn't think making a smoothie is that big a deal. You put a banana, you put some spinach, you put blueberries and some milk, and you're great. And that's what I hear people doing. And if I hear anybody doing that now, I'm like, throw it away. I won't even have that. I won't consume that combination. There is a right and a wrong way to make smoothies, and certain ingredients need to be eliminated. And this particular smoothies conference introduced me to the way to make smoothies. Now, I don't even like smoothies. I personally just want to eat the whole fruit, but I could see the benefit of having someone who likes to take things in that are powder based and instead putting real food in it and then making the right combinations of food. Now, he was teaching different things about how to use nuts in their mint leaves and certain herbs, as well as these fruits and some veggies, some things like this. But when I went to his course, I loved it. I did I bought the blend tech. I invested time into how to make these smoothies. I followed recipes, and then I realized that there was something wrong with the recipes. And I personally made my own changes and I came up with my own recipes. And so I teach how to make smoothies that are based around fruit and how to combine properly. And so from there, um, I went into another course with the International School of Detox mentor, Dr. Robert Morris. And he is really who brought me into the detox world, certified me, gave me I also teach on his online university, the gut health class. And for me, it's about analyzing bowel movements. The one thing that people will say, they don't want to talk about, it's too much information. It's like something they don't look at it. They don't want to smell it. They're offended by their own poop and stuff like this. And when I used to be just like that. And I remember just following the Bristol stool chart, which were all cartoon boot poops. You won't see a real one, and it's all wrong. Everything on there is wrong. And I have thousands of movement pictures from all my clients over the years of transitions from when they start in the beginning and what happens after 30 days of cleaning up the diet. 60 days, sometimes 90 days, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. I've had clients stay with me and show me these movements so that I can see how the changes happen. You can tell when someone has ballooned colon just by looking at the bowel movement. If you have consistent pictures, you don't need anything else. You don't have to take it out. You don't have to handle it. You just want to take a good picture and collect them in your phone, send them to me, and I will analyze stuff. And I can tell you there's so much information in that. So I teach a class about, how to analyze and what it means when your bowels look a certain way and how to change it and what the diet does, that old matter can be sitting in you for months, I'm telling you. And people who can come onto the fruit fast and you can't see the food passing out within 24 hours, that's a problem. Sometimes it takes 2 weeks to show up because certain food will always stay the same color or shape, the way you swallow it. When it comes to fruit in particular, like corn, like watermelon, like beans, like tomato, there's certain things that when you eat it, you can look for it. And nuts too, nuts as well.
Hmm.
You can see it come out the same way you swallowed it. And it's not because you have low digestive enzymes. It's because you didn't chew enough, number one. because this is where the first line of digestion occurs, is in the mouth. And I had to learn the hard way. I had cavities growing up. I had wisdom teeth pulled. By the time I was 24, think about this for a second. I followed the recommended daily allowance for all those years up till the age 24. I ate all the foods they told me to eat. Yet I had already lost 5 teeth, five by the age of 24. And
Mm.
people would say, "Oh, it's because you didn't clean your teeth well." Well, there was more to it because of the diet. When the body creates more acid, when you're eating certain things and you have indigestion and you have acid reflux, and then there's acid in your lymphatic system that comes out through your gums and they cause weakening and brittling of your teeth and enamel. So there is, the food connection to losing my teeth, but I had it pulled, I had cavities, I did root canals trying to
Mm.
save them, and that didn't work. So my point is, I had teeth missing in back here. And when I started eating fruit, I really couldn't chew them very well because I just couldn't. And so I realized that the smoothies now became something that were handy for me. So that was a tool to get that amount of fruit into my body every day. 7 fruit smoothie is what I teach. So those 7 fruits are going to be the colors of the rainbow. 7 colors is your goal, is always like something I want to say is like, look for
I
your,
love that. Very
yeah.
cool. I like that. So break down exactly naturally healing enterprises. What all services do you guys offer?
So it really is just me.
Yeah.
And I offer massage. I give massages, different styles, deep tissue massage, Swedish massage, Thai massage. And I combine all these different techniques I've learned like Kihara and reflexology with those other massage techniques and call it the hybrid massage. It's never exactly the same. I stretch my clients as well. Sometimes it's more oil based so that I get more of a deeper glide. Sometimes the client needs a deeper massage with just a little dry elbow, so it depends. I can do all sorts of massages. Then I have short 1 hours or up to 2.5 hours. It all depends on the client and their time. I usually go to people usually come to me in Cooper City, but I also do like house calls too. Normally I go to South Miami, and only with people who are willing to help me with my tables. 20 years of carrying my table, and I kind of like
Heck yeah.
lost my back a little bit. I'm like, okay, not picking it up anymore. I need help. But apart from that, teach yoga online on the weekends right now only. I used to do more group classes, but I'm just like trying to slow down. My life is very busy with these wonderful jobs, wonderful people. Detoxing clients now is the third job, and that is something that people will come and refer their family member, their husband, their wife, their father. I've had people with cancer, with diabetes. I've seen people survive after being told they only have 3 months to live, still here 15 years later, like still here 12 years later, 10 years later. Just how much change or how committed you are to yourself is so important. And I feel
Mm.
like anything I teach you is not short-lived. It's not just for a month. This is a lifelong change. And that is what I try to instill, is that people need to consider it a lifelong change.
I love that. I love that. So if somebody's listening right now and they have a friend, family member, or whomever that's facing some sort of chronic illness that's just not going away, that our modern medical system is putting a band-aid over continuously, what would your first piece of advice be for them?
Oh, first thing is to trust, because that is the problem, that we hear what I'm going to say, and the trust is the biggest fear tactic. That we've lost trust in natural remedies, and the natural remedy for me to help people like this is to get back to nature, to get off of cooked foods, to remove caffeine from the diet, to sleep at a certain hour from like 10 to 5, and to do yourself a favor to get up early and poop. Most people don't make the time to do that. So we get congested and compacted and impacted, and over days and weeks and months and years, it only gets worse. So without your intention, which some people do this 1 day, 3 day fast, or they'll take a parasite cleanse and they'll do something for a moment and then go back to the old habit. And that is a cycle. we cannot avoid staying in. If you do this, go back to the old habits. So again, it's really about uh, reducing. If you can't eliminate, reduce 50% of your cooked meals and increase 50% to raw food in the beginning to get started. That would be the first goal.
I love
Well,
that.
yeah.
I love that. And it sounds like a lot of discipline. It would be beneficial to try to wake up at the same time every day, go to bed at the same time every day, or does that matter?
It matters. It
Good.
matters so much. I absolutely feel that I myself had grown up remembering how free as a child I was during the weekend to wake up later, go to bed later. The cycle shifted on the weekends. And in the week, you got to go to bed early for school, and then you got to get up early for school. So in the week, you have this regimen that you may not be able to do because on the weekend you messed up so badly that you can't catch up. You can't, you don't get the energy. And then you're eating food that's actually depleting the energy. That's what I was going through. I was eating food that was depleting my energy. So I didn't have it in the morning. I mean, I was having some fruit once or twice here and there a day, but at the same time, I was eating a lot of meat, a lot of bread, a lot of dairy. And that's that was the staple. Caffeine was the staple.
Hmm.
And it keeps us in a cycle of not being able to get up or stay up. We get up maybe, but we're groggy, like adrenal gland fatigue. Chronic adrenal fatigue is a big deal
Oh yeah.
that's overlooked. And everyone who relies on the caffeine, really, I find that the adrenals are already very, very weak. And if you stop taking your caffeine, would you function? And if the person says no, that means you have chronic adrenal fatigue. So we want to fix the adrenals, eat more fruit. Stop eating cooked foods as much or none for a while, like 3 weeks. Take a break for 3 weeks. It's just 3 weeks. How many years have you been eating cooked food every day? So it's like get to a point where you can minimize it, eliminate it, and then slowly go back to it. And then just go back to it in a smaller portion. That's
Okay.
what, yeah.
Good. Good. So if someone's listening right now and they would like to get a hold of you, they would like to hire you, they would like to go through your detox program, what's a great way for them to get a hold of you?
So I have a website on on the internet. It's heal.me. And I believe it's /Pele Chen. But I'm not 100% sure. But if you get to heal.me, I'm
Yep.
sure you can write Pele Chen in the search and it'll pull me up.
No
Uh,
worries.
so there's also my phone number, 754-367-1625, direct connection. That's the business line. And then there's a couple different ways on Facebook. I have my not-for-profit group. It's called For the Love of Fruit. And I have almost 30,000 members there. And there is where I kind of post my daily ramblings about fruit, about detox, about yoga, about massage, about crystals. So that's the other thing I do. I sell crystals. So, trying to get different ways of healing. Some people believe so much in the power of crystals, right? So I think if somebody can believe in something and it helps them to get on the path, nothing wrong with that.
Right. Right.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Um, so that's called For the Love of Fruit on Facebook. And then on Instagram, I'm Goddess of the Gut on Instagram.
Love
And,
it.
and I don't think I'm a goddess, but I think I'm a goddess.
That's a good name. I like it. I like it.
I've gotten
And
enemies because of that name, believe it or not.
of
People just like
course,
to argue. I'm a goddess.
people will argue about anything
You
anymore.
think, you think you're a god? You want
Hmm.
me to call you a god? Like,
Just a
oh,
name. It's just a name.
I didn't even name myself.
Well,
Somebody else named me. I was just
I
like,
love it.
oh, that's cool. Okay.
I love it. And for those listening, I'm gonna list all her contacts at the bottom of her article. You'll find that on the miamispodcast.com. If you go to her article page, we're gonna list all her stuff at the bottom of that page. So once again, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today and share your brand and your story.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure. I hope I'm able to touch someone and to make sure that like I'm available to you guys. But It's really easy if you get to For the Love of Fruit because it's a lot of, free responses there, and that's where I do my charity.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
All right.